stories, especially about wildlife and the outdoors. So, in that vein, welcome to Picture Yourself in an Outdoor Career, the ninth of 14 live sessions on YouTube and Facebook that are part of the digital 2021 Wyoming Outdoor Expo. And a special welcome to those of you joining from classrooms across Wyoming and beyond. If you need to leave early, you can always come back to the recordings on the Game and Fish YouTube channel or Facebook page or wyomingexpo.com. The session will last about 30 minutes and we'll hear the stories of interesting pictures that just might need more context to understand what's really going on. My friends and colleagues are spread out across Wyoming and the West, and we'd like to know where you are watching from and if you're part of a classroom. So tell us your grade level and school name too, as well as where you're watching from in the chat. To get started, we're going to go to Pinedale and my friend Rusty Bell, a taxidermist, who's there at the Wyoming State Taxidermy Association show. And Rusty, welcome. Thanks for taking time to be here. We've got a picture of a mount that you did. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. I'd love to tell you about this. And I know for people from Wyoming, this just looks like a normal pronghorn antelope mount. But there's quite a special story with this. And one of the things that's the most rewarding to me as a taxidermist and being able to do this job, this antelope buck was taken by one of the contestants or one of the participants at the Wyoming Women's Antelope Hunt. And looking at that antelope, it's hard to see it, but he's real a battler. He battled. He didn't have a point that wasn't broke off. He had scars. He was missing some hair, and he was a real battler. And so so this was taken by a real special person this last year, Joella Murray, and who also has a very good story. And so when Joella gets to get that animal back to her in North Carolina, this is really for me what it's all about. And so her getting to see that animal that she harvested and the people that were involved in that hunt, and in the whole process of experiencing something like that, truly an amazing story, an amazing person. And it couldn't have been a better animal for her, and her story and her life. And so really hats off to everybody that does those, helps with that Wyoming Women's Antelope Hunt. And here's to Joella and to that amazing trophy that she got and her family and everything. So that for me as a taxidermist is probably one of the most special stories I'll ever get to be a part of. So.
Okay, Rusty, you got me. But yeah, that is a really, really great story. And I think it comes back to it's about the people.
It is about the people, and it's about the memories of the hunt too.
Yeah. Yeah. When you were growing up, did you have any hobbies or did you do anything in your spare time that helped you be a better taxidermist?
I think it was, I drew a lot too, but I really did hunt and fish ever since I was very young and loved the outdoors. And that's probably where my love of what I do now in taxidermy came from. Having just a sense of what things look like and how they look and how they interact in the wild. And then you try to incorporate that into your taxidermy. It helps a lot. So
I expect understanding the way animals move and their habitat, and really understanding that biology might also come in handy.
It certainly does. And I did go to I do have a degree in biology, but I use it more now in anatomy and physiology with how do eyelashes protect the eye from sun and making sure things are at the right angles and hairlines. And so you're looking at more of that kind of stuff than the internal parts anymore. It's very interesting where my career, I guess, has taken me. It is indoor, outdoor, but really my whole career focuses on things that either come from the outdoors or will come from the outdoors. And so it's a big part of it.
Yeah. And you mentioned you have a degree in biology. How did you learn taxidermy?
I actually went to a taxidermy school. I was always interested in it, and asked a few taxidermists around here, and they actually recommended me to go to a school. And so I did. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. It took a 6-week taxidermy, spent 6 weeks at a taxidermy school and learned the basics. And now I'm still learning. I'm at a taxidermy show now, and there's a seminar starting here in about 30 minutes. And they'll be talking to us about casting different parts. And so we're always learning.
Neat. Awesome. Well, thank you, Rusty, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to help us out. And I just want to say hello to the 4th grade class from Monroe Elementary in Green River. They've been joining us quite a bit. That'd be Ms. Anderson's class. Catherine Bradfish from Rifle, Colorado's fixing to come to Wyoming next week. So we're looking forward to hosting you. And we have a 5th grade from Green River. Lots of hunting and fishing out there in that Southwest Wyoming. So we're glad you're here. And Dave Brooks from East Yorkshire, England. So welcome. All right. Our next photo is of Chris Martin. He's our digital content creator and social media curator at Game and Fish, and he's running the cameras and talking about his career and making this all on screen at the same time. So, Chris, thank you. Tell us about this photo.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm curious if anyone in the audience could guess what my job is from this photo. It's a little misleading because I have to admit that's the first time I got to rappel as part of my job, and Catherine kind of alluded to what I might be doing. But this is an area that I actually went out to on several occasions, and I guess just by looking at the photo, I think the key to take away is whatever you want to do and whatever career path you hope to take, just follow your passions. Climbing is something I got into when I was in college. I've always been fascinated in the outdoors and wanted a career in the outdoors. So that meant working in a bike shop in high school, and then working for an outdoor retailer right out of college. And then now, of course, I'm here at the Game and Fish. So now I will spoil it. So if you haven't commented yet, I'm sorry, but I am placing a trail camera out, and this is an area where I had gone many times before, and there were a lot of bighorn sheep, but this springtime was coming up, and I really wanted to get a bighorn sheep lamb on camera. So I worked with one of our biologists because we have collared sheep out in that area. And I just looked at the, on a map, you see these little green dots, and I saw a clump of these green dots close together. Those green dots, of course, are the points from the collared sheep. And when they clump up in the springtime, that's a good indication that might be a lambing site. So I said, let's go try and put a camera here. And so we drove out there, and we arrived at this big rock formation, and it was like, oh gosh, how are we going to get on top of this thing? So we had to walk around the back, and we were able to kind of hop from rock to rock and get on top of this rock formation. And then the last little bit involved going down some steep rock, and then there was a big rock ledge where there was a lot of sign of bighorn sheep. So it was like, that's where we need to get the camera. And so that's actually when I went to pick it up. And sadly, we did not get any bighorn sheep lambs, but we did see some bighorn sheep hanging out there. And you can actually see some of the video of that bighorn sheep if you check our wildlife series on our website.
Cool. So all that work, and you didn't quite get what you wanted, but you still had some success. We've got folks that are thinking that looks like you could be being a bat tech, spelunking, fossil hunting, animal rescue, monitoring birds' nests, or archaeology. So you obviously were taking pictures of bighorn sheep, and then I know they're on the expo on the wildlife section of our website, but where else do you put your pictures?
Well, of course, they can also be viewed on our Expo at Home page, but I think what you're getting at is social media. I publish a lot of the videos throughout the year on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and so all of those places are good locations to keep an eye out for footage of animals from around the state. and I'm always looking at increasing the diversity of species I capture and all of that. So it's a fun job and it keeps me busy.
Very cool. So you are on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, and you get paid for it, and you're doing things in the outdoors all at the same time.
Yeah, it's
Cool
definitely
job.
a dream job. And like I said, it all starts from following your passion. I think Rusty hit on that well with taxidermy. It started out as a hobby. He grew it into a business, and so it's amazing where you end up if you just keep involving yourself with what you're interested in.
Awesome. All right, Chris. Well, thank you very much for being on this side of the camera. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your work. All right, we're going to move on to Anna Senecal. She is an aquatic habitat biologist, and she is in the field right now, so you get to see her office for the day, hopefully. And Anna, oh, here she comes. Yay. Anna, hello, and could you tell us about these pictures?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm an aquatic habitat biologist, and that's just kind of a fancy term for I fix streams. So the picture on the left is me and a coworker of mine. She's a biologist from the Laramie region. And we're just measuring a stream, taking some dimensions, seeing how far away from what it could be, what it used to be, and the state of the stream that's best for providing really good habitat for cutthroat trout, that people love to see and fish for and catch. And then on the right is kind of the second phase is going in with heavy equipment if it's necessary and rebuilding the stream essentially. So you can think of stream restoration kind of like remodeling your house or fixing your house if the foundation is cracked or broken or your roof is leaking. Sometimes you have to go in there with some pretty heavy equipment, some big guns, and dial back the clock, set it back to what it used to be. And so this is a picture of Flat Creek on the National Elk Refuge north of the town of Jackson. And that's actually where I'm at right now, not on the Elk Refuge, but downstream, a little further downstream on Flat Creek.
Wow. That's a pretty cool office you got there today, Anna.
Yeah, it's not too shabby, huh?
No.
And then kind of the coolest thing after all is said and done, right? We get to go back and see and measure the effects of the work that we've done. So we'll go back with the fisheries crew and monitor and measure and weigh all these beautiful cutthroat trout to make sure that what we're doing actually has a lasting impact and will be important, to future generations, and anglers can go and enjoy the results of all our hard work. So it's pretty darn neat to see that whole process from beginning to end.
Neat. So Anna, when you were in school, what kinds of things did you study?
Oh, all kinds of things. Everything from the general biology and math and chemistry, science, all those things, some hydrology. But believe it or not, English is really important. Being able to communicate with people like we're doing right now, and write interesting press releases and write scientifically, but also in ways that is, interesting to read and fun and enjoyable to read is really important to communicating the value of your work and encouraging people to come out and experience it. So even if you you don't count out those social sciences, get a really well-rounded education. But so I have a bachelor's as well as a master's to get to be a biologist for the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, which is a pretty cool badge of honor.
Neat. Awesome. Well, Anna, I know you're busy, and thank you. You're really busy. So thank you for taking time to be with us today. And good luck in your office of the day. So
Thank you so much.
You bet. All right, we're going to now go to Buffalo, Wyoming, and meet Zach Turnbull. He is new to Buffalo, but because before that he was in Pinedale as our large carnivore biologist. And so, if you know what a large carnivore is, let's pop that in the chat. And we have a picture here of Zach. This was taken by Kat Urbakite. And I am seeing, I'm just going to let Zach tell us about this picture because I think this is a great picture.
Yeah, well, it wasn't quite a great day when the picture got taken, but yeah, so I used to work as a large carnivore biologist, and a big chunk of that role was addressing damage with bears and wolves and people, livestock. I captured a grizzly bear here that you see in the photo for killing livestock in the upper green. And on my way to transport them, I actually broke the shock mount off of my truck, and the brake line runs through that. So I wound up losing my brakes on the truck and was pulled over trying to patch the brakes together so I could drive when Kat pulled up, and she got that photo, I guess. So you know, a lot of these jobs are pretty variable, and you might be mechanicking and working on a truck one day and might be handling bears or what have you the next day. So anyway, that was kind of the gist behind that photo.
Yeah. You know, one thing I've noticed, every picture I've seen of you in the field, you have bear spray or another deterrent. So these jobs can be pretty dangerous, huh?
Yeah, they can. I think maybe driving vehicles is probably the most dangerous part of it, or flying in airplanes. But yeah, some people have asked about the bear spray there, and I always carry bear spray, especially around grizzly bears. But I think I actually had that off laying on the ground so I wouldn't roll over and pop the safety off while I was working on the truck there. So that's the story behind that.
There you go. So what was your experience path to get to being a large carnivore biologist and just and a wildlife biologist for the department?
Well, I got a bachelor's degree from Oregon State in fisheries and wildlife science, and then had a variety of jobs across Oregon, kind of Southwest Oregon, Nevada, and then just kind of one thing led to another, or fate, I guess, and started working more with bears and lions, and did a bunch of that work in Oregon, and then got the job in Pinedale as a large carnivore biologist, and was there for a pretty good while. So
yeah. So when you go home at night, what do you feel good about of your day's work? What's your favorite part?
Oh, I think when you can help wildlife and help people, it's a good day. So, you know, and as long as that's what you set out to do, and then you'll probably do good things, I think. So, yeah, that's probably, and when you can accomplish both of those, that's even better. Very
cool. Neat. All right. Well, thank you. And would you answer the question? What species make up large carnivores? I see one in your background.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So in Wyoming, most of our large carnivores we actually classify as trophy game in statute, but we're referring to the same animals, and those are gray wolves, grizzly bears, black bears, and mountain lions. So that's mostly the species that our large carnivore biologists deal with primarily, but also wardens and biologists throughout the state do quite a bit of work with them as well.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate your time. And if anybody has any questions for Zach or anyone else, please pop them in the comments, and we'll get back to them when we can. So thanks, Zach. Our next guest is Rachel McKeon. She is a camp cook and wrangler for Bear Basin Adventures, which is based near DuBois. And she is in Texas right now. Her winter haunts are Texas. So I can vouch for her skills. I spent 8 days in the mountains with Rachel, and let's just say I didn't expend as much energy as I needed to counteract the really good food that she was making. So here we have a picture of that Rachel is in, and there's all kinds of interesting things going on. So if you are looking at this and you want to guess what's going on in the chat or the comments, please do. And Rachel will let you explain about what's really going on.
Hi, Catherine. Yeah, sure. So I think this was about day 5 on our pack trip. This was the one that you were on with us. And this was in the morning. I think we were getting ready to tear down to go to our next campsite. But in this picture, you've got quite a bit going on. We've got our horses hobbled in the background. We still have the tent set up for our guests, and there's quite a bit right in the front. You can see our panniers. That's what everything basically comes in on the horses and the mules. All the food, all the gear, everything is placed in those, either the icebox panniers, which are right in the center of the photo, or the metal panniers. They're kind of right in the front of the picture.
And Maria Anderson's class got it. You're camping, dinner, trapping, and tracking animals. So we certainly did some tracking of animals, looking for bear prints when we were there. So they're setting up camp to monitor animals. And yes, I know our biologists do some of this type of packing to monitor animals. So absolutely. And so I see there's like a table there. How does that fit onto a horse?
Well, you can see on the sides the aluminum boxes. Those are actually panniers, and they have, using some metal stakes we put in the ground, and there's a tabletop that we set it all up, and then we have a little camp kitchen, which isn't nearly quite as big as I had been used to cooking on, but it served the purpose quite well.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing that all that stuff that we see in that picture and all the things in the tents came in on the backs of horses. So, Rachel, how did you learn to cook everything in a Dutch oven and then also handle horses and work with the pack string?
Well, I learned pretty quickly. I hadn't done this. I hadn't grown up around this, but I went ahead and quite a bit later in life, after having many different jobs, I went ahead and had a chance to become a camp wrangler, and I took it, and I learned pretty quick how to handle the horses and take care of the horses. And then I had always cooked for my friends and my family. It's something that I enjoy doing, and they needed a cook, and I gave it a shot. And basically it's pretty close to, it's very similar to cooking just like normal, but it definitely is a lot harder over a campfire, where the wind could be blowing and make it too hot, or your wood could be wet and it could die out before your food's ready.
Yeah, and you've got people depending on you, so you got to be creative, huh?
Yep.
So I'm hearing that you did not grow up with horses, but yet you are able to make a career and out of just learning and being open to new experiences. Is that true?
Yep, that's a lot of hard work.
Yes. Well,
And
there's that. Yes.
just learning, and I was very fortunate. Heath and Sarah Woltman taught me quite a lot, gave me the crash course, and I just over time tried to get better at it. And it was something that I love to do, and I think loving to do something definitely makes it easier, even though there's many long days and hard work.
Yeah. So finding a mentor to help you learn things that you care about, sounds like, is important.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Rachel. We appreciate your time and sharing your story with us. So thanks.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go now to Kyle Lash. He's a game warden up in the Jackson area. He too is in a interesting office. So if anybody has questions for Kyle or anybody else, please pop them in the chat. And Kyle has this really cool picture. So Kyle, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, happy to. Thanks for having me today, Catherine. So in this photo, you'll see myself holding a calf moose. And the story behind that was, a couple springs ago, it was the 1st of June, we had a group of dog walkers there on the Wilson Dike. And it sounds like one of the dogs maybe spooked this moose calf into the roaring river during high runoff. The calf actually swam out onto an island, and I received a call through our dispatch about this stranded calf moose. And luckily enough, I had my brother-in-law, who I don't know if he knew what he was getting into, but I twisted his arm and I said, "Hey, I need an extra hand here with me tonight." And we went down and threw my cataract in the river, floated out to the island there near the Wilson Bridge, and luckily, between the two of us, we were able to chase the calf down and capture it, only to bring it back over to reunite it with its mother, who was just up the dike. She was very agitated, running back and forth. So it was a successful day, and we had a lot of fun, and we were lucky to have a lot of folks give us the call initially on that to report that, and then also to help us out. You can see him holding the raft, and we had a lot of help once we hit the shoreline.
Yeah. Neat. Yeah, there's not a lot of people that have picked up a baby moose before, Kyle. And then reunited it with the mother. Those mama moose can be pretty mean. What'd that feel like?
Well, I'll tell you what, Catherine, just from my experience, we try not to pick them up and handle them too much. So there's a good reason why a lot of folks haven't done that. And again, even myself, we try not to handle wildlife and leave them where they are. However, this situation where it would have been left wouldn't have been a good situation. And once we were able to reunite them, we kind of shut down the dike road to give them a break that evening. And everybody was really helpful in that. And that takes a community effort as well.
Yeah, in Wyoming, we care about our animals so much and our wildlife, and that's, really why we live here is for our wildlife and for the outdoors. And it's neat to see you doing that, and then the community then turning around and supporting that mama and baby to be able to have some downtime and conserve their energy while they rebuilt what was lost. So that's really neat. Kyle, there's lots of folks that want to be a game warden when they grow up. Can you tell us about your schooling and then any hobbies or things that you did that you've done on the side that have helped you now with your job?
Oh, absolutely. I was very fortunate. I was born and raised in Thermopolis, Wyoming, and grew up hunting and fishing every opportunity that I had. And I always noticed that the game warden was out in the field. So I said, man, if I could grow up and be a game warden, that would be a neat career and a neat job. So I asked our game wardens growing up what they did to become a game warden. And the number one thing they said is, well, make sure that you do well in school and pay attention. And they said also get a degree in wildlife biology. So I did get a bachelor's degree from the University of Wyoming in wildlife and fisheries biology, and was lucky enough to then get hired on right out of college for the Wyoming Game and Fish, and held a job as a habitat tech here in Jackson, and then a damage tech in the Cody region. And since then, I've kind of served as a game warden across the state, but have been in Jackson here the last 9 years. I'm very fortunate. Living the dream.
Yes. So hunting and fishing as a hobby as a kid, and then just asking for a mentor, right? You ask for a game warden to ride along with.
Absolutely. I should make a recommendation. Any kid that's interested, we're lucky you have we have 50 district game wardens across the state of Wyoming. And so no matter what community you live in, you're probably pretty close to a game warden. And I would say if you can reach out to them and ask them about doing a ride along, I would sure recommend doing that. One, the game warden learns as much as the kid does, but we, or whoever your ride along is, they don't have to be a kid, but we just really enjoy folks looking to carry on the passion and conduct this job.
All right, Kyle, thank you.
Thank you
for taking time out of your windy day to be with us. No, it's fine. We can absolutely hear just fine. So I think I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat. So thanks to everyone for being here. 6 of my colleagues and friends really appreciate you taking time from your afternoons to be here. We're going to drop a link to our evaluation in the chat. If you could complete that, folks that are watching, we'd appreciate it. That helps us learn and get better at this. We have some partners at Onyx Hunt. And so if you complete this application or the evaluation, we'll send you a special discount code next week for 3 months free for your Onyx Hunt subscription. And also, if you would like 20% off of your subscription, you can use the code WYLD20, WYLD20, and that will get you 20% off your annual subscription, but then also give $5 to the Wildlife Fund. So thank you for being here. Our next session is at 7 o'clock tonight, Firearm Friday, Guns That Won the West, with Evan Green, who's a firearms historian with the Wyoming State Museum. I promise you this will be fascinating. So we hope to see you this evening, and have a great afternoon, and take care.